So take two, take three, action. Hello guys and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Wanu Yaji. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being a part of my family. And if you're coming here for the first time, please click the notification bell so that you will be a part of this family. We are up to 500 subscribers this week. Yay! Every time I come here to make a new video, I'm always here to update you guys that we have 100 more subscribers or 10 more subscribers or something like. And every time I come here, I have more subscribers. So I'm so grateful for the growth, and I'm not where I want to be yet, but we're gradually getting there, and we're over 500 subscribers now, and hopefully by the time I'm shooting the next video we should be over 600 subscribers. So I'm so excited. I'm really excited for this journey, and thank you guys for being a part of it with me. Yeah, so let's go on to today's video. Okay, so I promised you guys in the video I made about my Canada journey and then coming to UK that I was going to put out information on how I was able to process my visa within 3 months. Now, I don't know, for some reasons, I feel like love comments on social media are really getting to me, and 1,001 people on my social media space are tired of people in the UK because every day someone in the UK has something to say. It's either, oh, this is happening or that is not happening. I feel like at every point you go on social media, there's someone in UK that has something to say. The truth is, because I'm in UK, I will definitely be for people that are in UK, because the truth is, trust me, I don't know about other people, but if you're from Nigeria and you successfully moved to UK and you are not a high class end you're not from a high class end family, you're from the middle to the low grade, you will know coming to UK is a struggle, like is a testimony. It comes with a lot of sacrifice, a lot of funding. Sometimes you even have to borrow to be able to achieve that. So when people eventually get here, I feel like it's just their way of showing gratitude and appreciation, and then we talk too much, then we put out just too much information. But it's just that feeling of I finally arrived. Like for me, when I first got into UK, I couldn't believe it. Like every day I'll be walking on the streets and I'm like, so I'm finally in UK. Like, oh, so I did UK. Like it was just that joy for me. So if I'm to be with them, I'll say it's just the joy, and we don't know how to express it more than come on social media and scream and say all the information. Some of them are like cultural shocks to us, and we're just expressing and say, if people are coming, we'll be ready for this, that. But a lot of people are traveling almost at the same time, so it feels like the information is now too much, and then people that are back home are now tired of us. Like, can they see something else? But right now UK they give visa. Other countries are most times 80-20%, not even 50-50, because there are more chances of you not getting it than you getting it. So UK is more like 100% chances, especially if you meet all their requirements. So UK happens to be the place that a lot of persons are coming to. Now, in as much as this video might come to other persons as too much, trust me, there's still 1 or 2 persons out there that are daily and all the time going online to see informations. Now, first things first, before I even go to the requirements for that I used personally, because I came through schooling, like you guys all know, I need you guys to know that if you have money and you don't have the time, then you can go for an agent. But an agent is not going to give you visa. If you have those qualifications, if you have the requirements and you are eligible for the visa, with or without an agent, you will get it. Especially with developed countries, they are not like back home where we come from, where information is very scarce to get, and it's like, oh, I hear see, I know hear see. If you go on UK Gov, trust me, you get all the information you need to apply for a visa. You don't need to go and meet an agent to help you. You have all the information you need on UK Gov. Up till now that we're in the UK, any information you need as regarding a job sponsorship, as regarding agencies that sponsor for jobs, or all those things are on the website. You don't need anybody to tell you. That's why people in developed countries hardly use agencies. Well, we back home, maybe because our own system is really not that organized. You have to ask somebody before you even get information, those kind of things. So it feels like we use that mentality to go into developed environments. No, you don't need it. So majorly everything I'll be telling you is that you can do this thing on your own. If you go through it and you don't have the requirements, even if you're going to meet an agent, unless the agent wants to do what I don't know, but you can't manipulate those calls, right? So now, first things first, you have to apply for a school. Now, another good news about UK is that you don't pay application fees when you're applying for schools in the UK. I applied for schools in Canada as well. I paid application fees for schools in Canada, and the application fees were roughly around less than 100 to over 100 Canadian dollars. But for UK, application is free. So let's take, for example, I'm studying public relations and strategic communications. Now, I wasn't necessarily going for that particular course, but I needed something to do with PR. So I just searched for schools in the UK that were doing masters in PR, and I had like a list of them. Now, that's the first place you go to. You have a list of the schools that are doing the course that you want to study. And then when you get the list of the schools, then you now start looking for eligibility. Some schools require you to have a 2-1, and some schools also require you to write IELTS academics. Now, there are two types of IELTS. There's academic and there is general. Some schools require you to write IELTS academic, while other schools, you're from an English-speaking country like Nigeria and you've passed your WAEC, you just need your WAEC result and you just send them a scratch card to be able to verify that result, right? So, number one, after you've seen schools that have your courses, you have to check for their eligibility. Are you eligible to apply for the schools and all of those things? And then thirdly, you check for the fees. There are some schools that you have the eligibility, but the fees are freaking expensive and you can't afford it. And now there are some schools that offer scholarship. When I was applying to school, my school gave me a 3,000 Naira international scholarship. This fees was 14,000. So now that fees is now 15,000. I think their fees goes up from time to time. So my fees was 14,000. I had an international scholarship for 3,000 pounds discount, and my fees was now 11,000 pounds. Now for my own school, what you needed to do was, like I said, this thing is solely mine. I'm not saying generally. For my own school, what you needed to do was pay half of that fees. That was qualifications for a CAS, because for UK, once you get admission and you accept your admission, some schools will have you do an interview for CAS. CAS is what you use to apply for a visa, while some schools just need you to have some qualifications and then you can be entitled to a CAS. So for my school, once you get admission, the next thing you do, you have to accept the offer first and then pay half of your fees. Then when you finish paying half of your fees, you have to have your proof of funds. Now, proof of funds means the remaining bit of your fees. So for my school now, I had to pay half of it. So the remaining half of the fees, which was £5,500, and then my cost of living for 9 months, that information is on the UK Gov website. You have the cost of living. As of the time I was coming, the cost of living was around 900 and something per month pounds, but right now it's above 1,000. I think it's 1,023 pounds for people living outside of London, and above that for people schooling and living within London. And you have to provide that proof for up to 9 months. So 5,500, which was the remaining from my fees, and that's proof of standard of proof of money for your living, which is on the UK Gov website. You would see it there, how much you need. And you have that. I needed that money to be in my account for 28 days. And then when that money was in my account for 28 days, I will print my account statement, show them my proof of payment, and then submit it to the school to process it. And then I had my CAS. Now, other schools don't need that requirement. It was just my school that needed that requirement. I think they just needed that extra assurance that you have your fees ready to pay once you get into the country, right? So you have to prove that. So when you submit it, my CAS took around a couple of days, maximum 5 working days, that is a week, to come out. And then I went ahead for my visa processing. Now, prior to while I was waiting for my money to get to 28 days and all of those things, I had to go and do my TB test. When you're coming to UK, you also have to do your TB test. Now, getting an appointment to do TB test in Nigeria, I was in Lagos, was actually going to be a big deal, but that is story for another day. I'm not even sure I'm going to shoot that. I'm just telling you requirements for what you need and not how you're going to do. I'll be the stress you're going to use to get it. That one, like, it's just the requirement I'm telling you. So now you need a TB as well. So you have to do a TB test. Now, I'm giving you this requirement for a single person. For those that came with dependents, the requirements are different. I came on a single visa. I'm in the country with my husband, but my husband is not on my visa. So I'm giving you requirements for a single person. With basically did those applications on separate times before we even got married. So we are both on different visas right now, but his visa is definitely the sweetest of them all. So I'm going to ask him if it is okay for me to document that one here for professionals that want to apply for visas as well. He is a professional, so he came on that kind of a visa here. Long story short. So you have to do your TB test, and when you have your TB test, then you can now apply for a slot for visa. And then you have to have money to pay for your insurance. I think insurance now for a year is around 800 and something pounds. I'm not sure, but there is an insurance money that you pay along with your visa. If you're coming for a visitor's visa, you don't need that. But if you're coming for any visa that you're staying and working in the UK, then you need a health insurance cover as well. So that is what makes UK visa that expensive, is for the insurance, which means as well in the UK now we have free education, free medication, free consultations, and hospitals. What was the name? I don't know, but you pay for your drugs though, apart from pregnant women. So I'm already tired. So where was I? So you have your proof of funds. So I submitted it, and then I got my CAS, and then I was now eligible to now go ahead and apply for visa. Now if you're applying for a UK visa, you still need all of this money, which is your remaining part of your fees and your cost of living for up to 9 months in your account for 28 days before you can apply for visa. Now if you're applying for visa, especially as students, one thing I noticed that some persons made mistake with, that I got to know ahead of time, is that you have to include your CV to explain all your academic gap, because a lot of us, like I had over 5 years academic gap, so I had to put a CV with my application. So that CV will explain when you were done with university, when you served, what you've been doing up until now that you decided to go for your master's now. If you don't have that, as of the times I apply, they won't reject your visa. But if your visa is supposed to come out in 3 weeks, at the time they want to do that decision on your visa, that is when they realize that it's not there. So they'll send you an email to give them proof of why. So that makes your visa extend longer. So if you're supposed to get your visa in 3 weeks, sometimes you might get it in 6 weeks because of that information that is not there. So you just have to try your best and get all the information that you need. You also have to show them proof that you've already sourced out accommodation. Then when you get into the country, you just need to pay for the accommodation here in the country. So for those ones, mostly you just go on bookings.com and get like an Airbnb, and get an Airbnb that gives you room to pay on arrival. So you do a bookings and then just show them proof of the bookings. And what else? I think basically that is just all for the requirements, and then you apply for your visa. If you want to do express, there's 1 day express, freaking expensive. There's the one for 5 days, not as expensive as one for 1 day, and then there's a regular one. Now because of the very high inflow of people coming in and out of UK, the regular one that's supposed to last 3 weeks now ends up going as high as 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and the next one that's supposed to take 5 working days ends up getting to like 2 weeks. So depending on how much you have. When I was applying for visa, I wanted the one for 5 days because my husband was going to leave me in Nigeria and I couldn't handle it. So I wanted the one for 5 days, but that time the traffic was just too much, and they said, you know, everybody is doing, either you're doing the normal one or you're doing the 1 day one, which was too expensive. I couldn't even afford it, you know, right? So I ended up doing the regular one. But luckily for me, as of the time I applied, 3 weeks came out in 3 weeks. Now I have another gist. That one is just a gist and testimony on how I booked my flight ticket already, and I was supposed to leave Nigeria on the 7th of February, and up until the 7th of February was on a Monday, and up until Friday I hadn't gotten my visa. Trust Esther, I went to VAC Ikeja, go cry. I will give you that gist on a later day. See, that is why I feel like I talk so much, because see, everything from my coming to UK, from my beginning to how I got to UK, has always been a miracle. It has always been now by God, because who sent me to go and book flight ticket? Nobody. But it was cheaper to book for a long time, so I just felt like I did like calculation. Okay, give or take, the visa should be out by this time, so I booked my ticket for them. And when that time came, my visa was not out yet. And Fridays, VAC does not open on Saturdays. Last Sunday, Monday first in the morning, my flight was leaving. It was leaving from Abuja. I was in Lagos. I had to travel to Abuja on Sunday. So don't worry, that one is story for another day. So basically, that are the requirements for my school when I was applying for visa. Now, like I keep telling people all the time, this is my YouTube channel. I don't know the rules that require informations and stuff, so I will not put out the name of the school here, even though I feel like a lot of you know the name already. But because this is my channel, I don't want a situation where one day somebody will go through this video and feel like I violated one or two of their rules. So if you want to know my school, or if you want to know further information about how to get admission into my school, you can send me like a private message, and then we can have that privately. But I'm not definitely going to put that here in public because I don't want to fall into trouble. This YouTube channel is my baby. I'm nurturing it with my whole life, so I don't want anything to go wrong with it. So basically, pay half of your fees, have money in your account for the remaining part of your school fees and your living costs for 28 days, and then you can apply for CAS. Have your TB. When you get your CAS, at that time you already have money in your account for 28 days already. Prove your funds, your CV, very important to prove your study gap, and then go ahead and apply for your visa. Every other information, I might not just say everything, but every other information you need is on the UK Gov website. You don't need an agent. Nigerians, you don't need an agent. If you are not going to get that visa, if you don't have the requirements, there are some schools that want you to have IELTS. If you don't have IELTS, there's no way they will give you. There's nothing anybody can tell you. They will not give you that visa. So just go there, get the requirements, go back and calculate this requirement. Now, because I already have funds in my account for Canada, so when Canada rejected me, I just transferred all of those things to Nigeria. And it took another process getting my refund because I paid my fees in Canada already. So it took another process getting my refund from Canada. That is another story for another day. I'm not even sure I'm ready to go do a video on that. If you guys want a video, maybe somebody is stuck and you want a video on how I was able to get my refund from Canada, because trust me, the process is a whole lot different now. You have to really go after it. They sent that money in November. I got that money sometime in April. That is how mad the process is. So you just send me a video. This video is getting too long. It will almost get to 20 hours. I mean 20 minutes. Anyways, that are the requirements and how I was able to process my visa to UK. Thank you guys for watching, and if you've gotten up to the point of this video, please subscribe, click the notification bell, so anytime I post the video, you will be the first to know, because trust me, I have all the videos back to back to back. I'm not sure. Okay, don't worry, stay for another day. So please click the notification bell and be a part of my family, One Uyaji, life of One Uyaji. Thank you guys, and until next one, bye.